Here we go, guys, the 2019 Child's Play movie. So let's dive right in and have a quick discussion about my initial thoughts. And here's your spoiler warning. Click off if you don't want to be spoiled. Alright, here we go. First off, I just want to say that this movie was a good reimagining. But with that being said, that's the only good thing it had going for itself. It's like Orion Pictures wanted to make a quick buck. And from my opinion, I honestly feel like this script was intended for another doll. But someone said, you know what to make this movie better? If it was a Chucky doll. And speaking of Chucky, the design was so ugly that it looked scary. And there's some scenes that had potential, but it just fell flat during the jump scares. And there's some scenes that I seen in the previews that wasn't in the movie, so I don't know what happened with that. And the plot was fine. I had no problem with it, but like I said earlier, they didn't have to use Chucky for this movie. Any other doll could have been computerized into doing evil things. But in a way, I do think it crippled the Chucky character because it made him less frightening. And it almost made him feel a little bit vulnerable, just like Andy. And probably to 90% of the audience, they were expecting a little bit more ruthless Chucky. I know I was, but we didn't really get it in this movie. And switching gears, I feel like the guy who played Andy and the detective did a great job with their acting. The others really didn't stick out to me like I thought they would, specifically Andy's mom. I thought she would have did a better job considering that they had her on every promo tour and they was promoting her like she was going to be one of the main characters. I thought that the other supporting cast members were overacting, specifically Andy's friends. But you're always going to get that with younger actors. So let's transition and talk about the kills. And probably my favorite kill of this whole movie was the guy that got plowed up and his head ripped off. And the funny thing about that is the head was brought back to Andy's room. And of course Chucky did it. And Andy is freaking out and that's the last straw. But in the meantime, Andy is trying to figure out how to get rid of this head. And he wraps it up in wrapping paper. And as soon as he's trying to throw it away, his mom come in and she's like, what is that in your hand? And he was like, it's a present for my neighbor for helping me out with my homework. But, I just thought it was funny that everyone was, touching her head and everything like that, but it was wrapped up. And, it was funny to me anyway. Another kill that I liked was towards the end when a guy got slashed in the throat with a drone. I mean, that looked so great, and that was probably my favorite kill. I think it is my number one kill of this movie. And now I want to share my pros and cons. But first up, I want to talk about the pros. And I like the storyline, like I mentioned earlier. And the ending, it was good. It had a few memorable jump scares. And I like the technology aspect of the Chucky doll. I like the tasseling, how they utilized it, and, how Chucky was able to control everything. I thought that was a great element that they brought to the movie. And the kills was pretty good, so that's my short list of the pros. Now I want to talk about the cons. And my first con of this movie will be something that I really despise in any movie, and that's the lack of scenery. I just felt like it was so much more to see. We really didn't get to see the city. It was always at nighttime. I don't know. I'm just that picky. I just want to see a lot going on. And we really didn't get that with this movie. And it seemed like they just filmed the whole movie at night. I don't know. But it looked like a $4 million budget movie to me. I know it was probably more than that, but it really just looked like a cheap made movie. And another con I had was the doll recorded everything. So when Andy knew that people was getting killed, why didn't he tell the detective to check out the doll or tell the police to check it out? And they could pull up the media files that were saved in the Chucky doll and they can see that Chucky was actually doing all the killing. The last con I can think of right now is the movie had a lot of comedic elements to it where stuff was funny where it wasn't really meant to be funny. Like, for instance, when the doll was first shown, my wife and I looked at each other and we just bust out laughing, along with the whole theater. So that's basically what all I had to say about the movie. I know it was a quick discussion and I rambled all over the place. So just bear with me. I just wanted to put this out real quick. But overall, if you can separate the two continuities, I think that you can enjoy it. But for me, I just wish I would have waited for it to come out on Blu-ray or Netflix. And as of right now, I wouldn't recommend anyone rush out to see this movie. Just catch it whenever you can. So share your thoughts down below and subscribe to my channel if you love horror and scary movies. Be safe, y'all. Peace.